Good Monday morning, everyone. It's John. Welcome back to the Kaiser Report. I'm coming to you today with a few things of news that has taken place over the weekend and to talk to you about a few things that are upcoming and of importance to us here at the Kaiser Report. As always, remember to comment and tell us what you're thinking in the comment section below here so we know what your thoughts are on any subject or commercials that we run. Speaking of commercials, we're brought to you today and sponsored by the Lazy J Farm and Butcher Shop. So we'll talk to you about that a little later in the program here. But let's get started with the big news today is that we have continuing all kinds of problems going on with the universities across the country now. They're adding one after another, and it's being funded in the millions of dollars by outside influences and pulled together through an organized group. And we don't understand why and how it's happening other than the fact that they view that Joe Biden doesn't have control of his own country. And now the Congress is writing letters. Some of the Republicans are writing letters about Biden's idea of bringing in the Palestine refugees that are coming out of Gaza into this country. And according to Kareem Jean-Pierre, they're going to vet these people. But given the vetting processes that they have on our southern border, it would lead me to believe that the vetting process won't be all that good. And that coupled with the fact that if you listen to the Palestinian people, 75% of Palestinians back Hamas and back what happened on October 7th. Do we want these people added to the already people that have gotten in on the Palestine side and are at our universities now, keeping your children from getting to their final exams and learning at the end of this school year? It's a mess what's happened. Which brings me to the Columbia NYU protests that are still ongoing after the police did a great job at cleaning out Columbia University and did a great job out at UCLA. The New York prosecutor, which we all know now because of the phony Trump trial that's going on, Alvin Bragg, has released these people, and no charges were put against them. They got tickets. So you might as well figure the ticket of parking your car would be the confluence of what they're going to have to answer for. And these people, half of these people, don't belong in that university and had no business being there in the first place. But here's your Alvin Bragg that is the AG in New York, released the people that the police had to put themselves in harm's way to get rid of the protests that were going on, the damages that were done, and the signs that were put up with death to America and death to Israel. No consequences for these people. They got a parking ticket, literally. You have to ask yourself what's going on inside our country right now, and we need to be prepared for it to get worse. The chaos is ensuing. If you look at 1930s Germany, it's almost history repeating itself here. And we have a weak administration that cannot handle the problems that they're faced with right now with immigration, with the economy, and now with inside terrorists in this country that are carrying on these school protests. And it's being funded by outside influences in large amounts. It's almost unbelievable. If you made this up, you couldn't create fiction this believable. It's a shame, but it certainly is happening. So let's see what else is going on. Israel issued a stern warning as the IDF prepares to wipe out Hamas in this last stand somewhere near the Holy Land. No, in Gaza, I guess. They're going to eliminate these terrorists, and the world can turn against them all they want, but they have every right to do this, in my estimation anyway. Giving them warning to evacuate where they're going into next gives the real good people chance to survive this onset of war. They created their war, and Hamas is being backed fully by Iran, who Joe Biden bends over backwards to acquiesce to every demand that the Hamas comes up with, or Iran comes up with, or Hezbollah comes up with. And if this continues, you're going to see another hotbed with these groups as well. It has to come to an end, but it's not our end that we need to be involved in. I say this all the time. Get the hell out of Ukraine and get the hell out of the Israeli business. Let them handle what they need to handle. They're not asking us, as Zelensky does every day, for handouts. They're asking us to buy what they need from our stores. There's a big difference there. And if you don't want to sell it, that's fine. Don't do it. Stay out of their war. That brings us to the Blinken visit to Beijing, which was a joke and a half, because the day he left there, they welcomed in a group from Hamas who spent time talking to Xi Jinping. Do you think for a minute that China is not going to back these jerks? Do you think for a minute that China respects Blinken? Do you think for a second that they respect anything to do with Joe Biden? I would love to know what they have on Joe Biden that are holding over his head. Maybe it's the son's problems that they have to hold over Joe's head. Or maybe it's both. We don't know. But to fool with that front is a mistake. And to keep poking a stick into Putin's cage is sheer lunacy. But yet this is happening on a daily basis. This administration does not have a foothold in anything but diversity. And he's bending over backwards to try and balance the scale between both sides, Israel and Hamas. Israel and Hamas. One day he likes this one, the next day he likes this one. No, I didn't mean this, I meant that. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Joe Biden. Pick a side if you're going to say something, but don't pick a side that will involve us into a war that we have no business being into. Just to appease, like you're doing with these university riots, you're appeasing a voting population. This is how your vision works, Joe Biden. You don't want to upset a single vote because you need it, because your numbers are in the toilet. And why are they in the toilet? Exactly what you're doing now. No backbone, no plan, and you lie daily about the economic situation in this country while we all listen to your numbers, and the stock market reacts last Friday to what you came out and said were great job numbers, and then 3 days later, it's found out that those numbers are not real. I guess you forgot all the layoffs that have happened in the last 2 weeks. 1,200 here, 1,500 here, 500 there, 700 there. These people are being laid off. They're not getting jobs. And if you want to count illegals replacing Tyson food layoffs for a fraction of what they used to pay somebody to work in those plants, then you're extremely mistaken. And that's what's going on with Tyson Foods. In case you didn't hear that over the weekend, all the people that were laid off from Tyson have now been replaced by illegals that have filtered into this country for cheap labor. These people need to have their hands slapped. What are we doing to our own citizens? At what end are we heading this way? You look at the fast food restaurants now are complaining that they can't make money. Their business is off. Well, when you have a McDonald's paying $20 and $22 an hour to a guy that sits back there, some pimple-faced kid that's flipping a burger, come on. Of course your numbers are off. People can't afford a $20 McDonald's meal. For $20, you can go, pick one. It's a hard thing to get around today and go out and eat. It's much cheaper to eat at home. If you're not stocking up on good foods for your family at this particular time in this country, you need to start doing it. And as I tell you time and time again, stay away from processed foods, processed meats, processed chickens, processed vegetables, and whatever else they can put in a box that's GMO, which is genetically modified foods. These things will kill you eventually, or sicken you to a point where the pharmaceutical companies can make more money. It's a vicious circle that we're looking at here, and the government is complicit in making you poorer and trying to do away with all the good jobs in this country and replace them with what they've let filter in through the southern border and probably the northern border now as well. So this is what we have to look forward to. And Kaiser even agrees. So hold on there. Hold on tight, because there's more coming at you on a daily basis with regard to how badly this government is handling situations around the country, especially the university situations that we're plagued with right now, and are not getting any better. It's growing, it's getting worse, and chaos is ensuing through the streets of America. And our students, the good students that are real students of these universities, in some cases can't even get to their classes. They have to take their classes on Zoom. Well, if you're a parent and you're paying $70,000 and plus a year for your child to go to that university, I'd be pretty angry at the administration in these universities as it exists now. That said, as I said earlier, we have a new sponsor here on the Kaiser Report, and that's Lazy J Farms in Kingsport, Tennessee. And we'll be running a short video here and a commercial for them, as they are now a sponsor of the Kaiser Report. And if you hadn't gotten a chance to see the tour that we did at Lazy J Farms and the butcher shop last Saturday, look it up. Go back and take a look at it, because it's a wonderful, wonderful place. And speaking of foodstuffs, if you're going to buy your meat, stay away from department store meat because there's a lot of additives and things in it to keep it fresh. And if you look side by side at what you can buy in a butcher shop from a local farmer and look at what you can get in the supermarket, just the color alone should tip you off that there's something not right with that meat. Now, Lazy J Farms has all the pork products, chicken products, and beef products that you could ever want. And the taste difference is just unbelievable. And the people there at Lazy J Farms will go to any extent to cut you what you want. If you get in there and call on a Thursday morning, he will custom order your meat for you. So give them a call, and we'll run their commercial at the end of this broadcast today so you can see the phone number. And, of course, you can always contact them through email at lazyjfarms.com. That said, let's see what else is going on in the world today that we need to talk about. The universities, I guess, have caved to the demands from the anti-Semitic students and rioters to gain the upper hand. They have the upper hand now because the people running these universities do not have backbones, or they're afraid of upsetting one side against the other, and I'm not sure how that goes because when I went to school, if you acted up or you really screwed up badly, you were expelled or taken to a disciplinary hearing for your transgressions. These people are running the universities now, which is not the way it should be, not at the prices the universities have gotten from students and their parents. And also the government. The government subsidies to these universities need to be threatened, but we don't have anyone in the White House right now with backbone enough to tell them that. And we have a Senate and a Congress that sits there and makes noises about doing something, but nothing gets done. That should upset you. It does me. And we're so tired of having to report negative news on a daily basis, no matter what channel you turn on or what channel you go to on YouTube, Rumble, any of the social platforms that are available to you. It's almost disgusting because there's no positive good news anymore coming out of any place because of who is running this country. And now the illegals are still pouring through our open southern border with nothing being done to stop it. In the meantime, New York finally let their police do their job, and they're released with tickets. It's just unbelievable what takes place. I mean, you have a few college presidents that really care and will do something or say something about the negatives going on, but we need to follow the money. Who is funding this? It's easy to find out, but this government does not want to do anything to upset an apple cart at the fear of losing one vote. And how anyone can watch this guy walk across the lawn out to the helicopter and not wonder how he's not falling down is beyond me. And you want to vote for him one more time? It's unbelievable. Social media and TikTok are at fault in some of this. Watch what your kids are watching on this TikTok stuff because there's subliminal messages in all of that junk. You want to act the fool and do a dance, to copy someone else's dance, that's one thing. But when you have these messages coming out from these Karens and these whatever is ridiculous, because this is how they're spreading their message to others to get on board with this college campus nonsense that's going on. And if you think it's not being funded and funded heavily, just look at some of the demands that they're making and the stuff that's being delivered to them. The helmets, the knee pads, the shoulder pads, the elbow pads, the vegan foods. Come on. Tents that I don't think I could afford to go to these sporting goods stores and buy. I mean, there's good stuff that they're getting. That's expensive stuff. And you don't think their parents are sending that to them. Somebody is buying it and supplying it. Plywood for signs and walls so they can paint "Death to America" on it. And the fact that they're allowed to fly these Palestinian flags in the United States is a travesty. Oh. The left-leaning outlet mocked for surprise over who is bankrolling the anti-Israel agitators. Well, let's just think. You think maybe George Soros is involved in that as well? It just, the poor pay more, and it's getting worse by the day. So the dollar store is no longer a dollar store. It's a $7 store now, but still it's the best deal as far as stocking up on canned goods and meals that will keep for a long time, soups and things of that nature that you should be stocking up on, because if this is allowed to continue, it will leave the campuses and filter out through the rest of America, and I guarantee you that is on its way. Unless and until someone grows a backbone and puts a stop to what's going on at the universities and have them have consequences for their actions. Not a slap on the wrist and not a parking ticket like they did in New York. That's Alvin Bragg, people. That's the person who has locked down a candidate into a phony trial, which is blowing up in his face, and yet Donald Trump still has to stay there while all this is going on. That is election interference at its best. And to show you what a great AG he is, he's taken these campus ruffians that were arrested, fought back against the police, and shouted "death to the police, death to America, and death to the Israelis and Jewish students." They got a ticket and were released on his orders. So if you had an inkling that Trump's trial is going to be fair, that should tell you something right there. This guy doesn't do his job. He has no business being in that courtroom and holding that man from campaigning as he should be. But this is how the Biden administration operates. He is behind this. He's pushed this, and he's locked down his only strong opponent. It's not right. But enough of that. In this coming week, we hope to have some better news. The White House is pushing Biden campaign to keep the president's speeches as shorter as possible. Wonder why. Could it be that he's unintelligible? You can't understand half of what he says, and then he makes up lie after lie about where he comes from. Now, the other day, he said he was, a professor at Penn. Penn, by the way, is another disgrace right now, what they're allowing to happen on their campus. He was never a professor at Penn or anywhere else. But he has gotten so far in dementia that he believes this. I don't know. But really, you're going to vote for this guy. He's heading headlong into World War III and probably a nuclear confrontation before it's all over and done with. Just wake up and realize that. We, the people, should have a say in this country, and we've been pushed aside for whatever reason and abandoned by both parties that we've elected to do the job of the people. They forgot that. Let's remind them in November, in the down ballots, in the congressional ballots, what that's all about. The fact that they could go to George Washington University and put Yasser Arafat's headgear on George Washington's statue should tell us all we're in deep, deep trouble. Now, with that said, we're looking forward to a little bit of a rainy week here, but we're going to try and get out and do some more of the visits. The visit to Lazy J Farms on the Saturday broadcast was awesome. We'll be back there again. Butch did a great job at explaining how everything works there, and we've been invited back to when he does an entire side of beef and how it's sectioned out and what sections are what. I learned a lot, and I'm hoping you will too on our next visit. We'll keep you informed when that's going to happen. And we still have to get in to see the finished product at Borderline Billiards in Bristol. And then we hope to get out to some small-town Appalachia general stores and visit some places of interest there. And we'll have a great time doing it. So stay tuned to the Kaiser Report. Watch us daily, Monday through Friday, for your news reports. And then weekend reports are always tours of one place or another that of our interest to probably all of you that are in driving distance to Appalachia, which encompasses a great swath of eastern United States. So stay tuned. And as always, we love you here at the Kaiser Report. We really depend on your comments, and we would love to hear from you about what your thoughts are on what's going on. Be cognizant that people are losing their livelihoods, their jobs. Things are costing much more money than we ever expected. Gasoline is on the rise again. It's been an increase in this area of 20 cents just in a matter of days. So we have a problem in that area one more time. And, of course, grocery prices are through the roof. They're saying 20%, but I'll tell you what, we went shopping this weekend, and things in some cases have doubled in price. That's a 50% increase, and sometimes a 100% increase in some items. So we have to be mindful on how we shop, where we shop local, help those people stay in business because businesses are closing down left and right. Office buildings are closing down. People are not working in them anymore. And we're also witnessing a lot of repossessions of automobiles, boats, motorcycles, and foreclosures on homes are at an all-time high. If this tells you anything, it should tell you watch how your funds are being handled, who's handling them, and have enough cash on hand to survive at least 3 months. And stock up on water. If you don't have a well, if you don't have a water source, get some laid in and stock up on foodstuffs. This, if nothing comes of it, you'll have it on hand anyway to use. So God bless you all. And remember, we depend on you here at the Kaiser Report for our livelihood. So stay tuned, and we hope you nothing but the best. Bye-bye now.
Lazy J Farms has been raising the finest cattle and all-natural pork for 3 generations on the family farm in Fall Branch. Their blonde Aquitaine herd offers a leaner, healthier, and more tasteful beef. And the butcher shop is local, farm to table, and 100% authentic. This is the way your grandfather shopped for me, with steaks cut to order, quality assured, and ready to ship to your door. Open Thursday through Saturday on Bloomingdale Road in Kingsport. Come see us.
Just tell them Kaiser sent me. They'll appreciate it. Bye.